Yeah, and the best thing is when people take cars apart, this is how you should do it. You should just take all the bolts and not label anything.
Nothing.
And just put them in other boxes with other bolts, because really that's what you want to do when you're trying to put the car back together, is make it as hard and difficult as possible to make sure all the bolts that look the same, that are just slightly different, don't fit. You're the same people that make a puzzle upside down on the table and start from the center out. All right, guys, we are here. This is Gary. Yeah, hey, Gary.
How's it going, man?
Nice seeing you again.
Yeah, you too.
So, it's been what, I guess, when was the car show? Was that Saturday, right?
Saturday, yep.
So it's Monday morning, and we're kind of at his residence. And this is actually, I was driving down a road, and a lot of this is hidden, but I was doing a U-turn, and then I caught a glimpse of some cars. And when I catch a glimpse of cars, I'm like, okay, I got to go in. So I came around, and I guess your wife was here.
Yep.
And that's when I kind of got a hold of you. And then we met down the car show.
Yep, that's right.
And all that led to you guys. And we're going to talk about some of the cars that are just sitting here. Now, we're in South Georgia.
It's lucky I got all the refrigerators out of the yard before you showed up. So, yeah.
So for those of you who were looking for the old refrigerator junk channel, that's on a different channel. That guy already came.
Yeah, he's already came.
Yeah, they already picked it out, so we're out of refrigerators. But so some of the cars we're going to start with is some cool, and you can kind of see there's a Coronet here, a Roadrunner, some other cars, and let's first start. I think we'll start with this green truck. So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean. This thing looks like it still runs.
Oh yeah, this is a nice truck. This actually is a customer's truck I'm gonna be working on. I'm waiting for the materials to come in, and so is he.
Okay, he won't have a problem putting it on the channel.
He won't have a problem.
So
he had it built out in California. I'm not familiar with who the builders were. It's had a lot of custom work. It's running on I believe a 05 Mustang.
Okay.
Running gear.
So it's got like front ends all.
Yep.
Mustang and everything.
Front end, motor and all. I'll pop the computer and stuff's all under the seat. When I get done with it, this will be a green plaid. We'll have some custom carpet, and I think we're gonna stop there because he don't want to go too far to where it don't work with the patina.
Right, and then I see they just took the Mustang shifter.
Yeah, just put it right in.
It's okay.
And I noticed, if you'll notice, some of the stuff, it doesn't need to be here. They just put it here. There's actually some that are shaped like flames that are tagged down here around. I don't know exactly.
It's been lowered too.
Yeah, it is, and I'm gonna pop the hood for you here, and unless you want, if I can remember how. Where are these old trucks? Here we go. No. There we go.
So is he keeping the patina type stuff?
He's keeping it just like this.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna keep it patinaed.
Wow. Oh yeah. So that's. This was not expected.
No. This thing. He told me when I got it, I've kept it at a friend's shop for a little while, and he told me, he said, when you drive it over there, be careful with it, and he wasn't lying.
So what is this out of?
I believe it's an 05 Mustang.
Okay.
So it's a 3-valve, 4.6, and I don't know what's been done to it. It's pretty hot though.
And then he kept the transmission, the whole running gear all the way back.
All of it's Mustang, yep.
Wow.
And before you get out of here, I can go get the key for it if you want to hear it run.
Yeah, we can hear it if you want to. Yeah, but it's, and then of course they did this custom stuff on the hood.
All of it, custom. The suspension's custom. If you notice the bed, they built a real nice frame for the bed.
Right. Are they going to put a wood bed back there, or you don't know?
I think it's just. I think this is it.
Oh, okay. So he's just gonna
leave it just like this.
Okay.
And run it as soon as I get the seats put in it.
Now it's funny because the truck itself, right here, I'm seeing City of Avalon. Is it? I wonder where that would have. There's a couple Avalons, but. Yeah. 8687 expires July 1st of 1987. So if you guys know, if you're from the city of Avalon that uses these stickers, or did back when I just graduated high school and went in the military back then. There was no internet back then, But if you guys know where this sticker's from, put it in the comment section below, because I know there's like Avalon, New Jersey, there's an Avalon, Florida, there's a bunch of Avalons. There might be an Avalon, Georgia, I don't know.
I'm not aware of a Georgia, and I would say this guy floats between Atlanta and California.
Okay.
So
so it could be anywhere.
It could be from anywhere.
So if this is your inspection sticker or something to do with your city, please put it down the bottom and let us know. So that's pretty cool. And that's a really neat with the rail, like this rail thing. So
it is a really neat mechanism.
So whoever came up with that, yeah.
If anybody knows if this can be bought, I would be interested in knowing where it came from or if it was made, because I'm almost thinking somebody might have made this, but
yeah, but that's pretty neat. So whoever it is has a lot more mechanical stuff than I do.
I think he dropped quite a bit on this out west.
But pretty cool.
And then it just rocks back down. Got some nice wheels on it.
Yeah.
And you can't hold this thing. It'll get away from you.
Oh wow. I mean, yeah, and it's got a fuel cell.
Yeah.
And just nice suspension, everything.
Disc brakes all the way around. Maybe I'm not sure. It may just be the Mustang for the time being. But I know Josh is the owner. He won't stop. He'll keep spending the money on it and probably sell it and then go get another something. So
wow, very.
I just fixed up a '64 Lincoln Continental for him. That's all solid black, full custom interior.
Oh wow.
Actually, he's got it up for sale right
So he just enjoys projects.
Yeah, he does.
Until he can't play with them anymore.
He does. He's doing really good for himself, and he just loves them.
All right, now you guys are going to notice as we look at the other cars, and there's more in the back from what I hear.
Yeah.
Is that a Jeep?
That is. That's a CJ7.
Okay. All right, we may take a look at that. But there's a lot of Volkswagen. Why are we seeing the Volkswagen?
Okay. I've only been doing this for a few years, so I work in industry. I've always been a hot rod enthusiast, and I'm an electrician, mechanical ability, do some of everything. And I was flipping these things on the side.
Okay.
They're cheap, you can find them everywhere, and I would buy them, repair them. Tax time comes around, make a nice car. I replace the radio, air conditioner, heat, and get all the check engine lights out, get everything repaired, and flip them.
Okay.
And, a lot of times $200 or $300 investment and $2,000 or $3,000 out.
There you go. And they're cute little cars.
Yeah.
Good gas mileage. So
I actually built a custom one and give it to my niece. It was her first car.
Okay.
So yeah.
They don't float like the original ones, though.
No, they don't. They do handle a little bit better.
The original ones you could float in the water if they went in. These things, they just.
Well, I had a '72 Super Beetle, and it would also float on the highway at about 70 miles an hour.
Oh, okay.
It got real hard to hold the road. Yeah.
So then, this is the thing that actually caught my eye from the road, and it's a Coronet, and it's a primer white paint.
It
like
is,
somebody was playing around with the primer and the black spray paint.
So this car is one of I got it from a customer.
Right.
He's got a GTX, a 68 GTX.
Okay.
He's having redone. He was going to drop a small block he built in this and make a drag car out of it.
Okay.
Well, this is a small block car, but it's been big block K-member swapped, and he didn't realize it.
Oh.
And he realized he was going to have to undo all that, and he just quit. And so he traded this to me for some interior work.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now you just have a big block drag car roller, pretty much.
And I've got the rest of the car. I'm waiting on the body shop to finish his.
Oh, okay.
He used it for a parts car, so I'm getting everything back. The fenders had minimal rust.
So you're getting the whole front end.
I'm getting the whole front end. I'm getting everything but the interior. But
And
I
then,
think we got that
well,
covered.
yeah, I think since you do that for a living, that'd be okay.
Yeah.
What's your plans for this thing? If you have any yet.
In a way, I've always been a purist, like try to put stuff back, but I don't have purist money. So this is going to be an old school hot rod.
Okay.
That's what I've got. I'm thinking I've got a big block 440. It's actually a date code correct 440 to go in it.
Okay.
Mopar purple shaft, dual carburetors. I've got a dual Offenhauser intake. And I'm not worried about racing it. I just want the look, the sound,
So you're basically making like like I said, I graduated in '84. So if somebody in the 1980s, before when they were worth about $2,800,
that's it.
That you just went and you bought a new motor at a junkyard.
I
and
drove
just
all the way through high school basically, because I was 72 Chevelles and 67 Barracudas back then.
I was Chevelles too. Yep, same year.
And I'm just building that old school hot rod that I loved, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And when I get done with it,
And this car is not something that some collector's going to be. I mean, you've obviously probably ran numbers to make sure you're not doing the only Hemi that came in blue.
We ran a number. It's a 273 automatic car.
Okay.
And it's when I get done with it, if I can locate a 4-speed and it don't cost me an arm and a leg, it'll be a 444 speed. If I don't, I've already got a 727 to go in.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put it back that way.
Well, 727 with a shift kit in it, it's gonna squeak the tires just as fast.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I'm a big centerline auto drag guy.
Yeah.
I'll put 15-inch wheels back on it. Probably do those unless I also like the Mopar rally wheels. I may run.
Right.
I don't know. It's all.
I don't know. The center lines when we were kids, a lot of the guys that had the Road Runners and the Chargers and they all had, for some reason, you had big M50 giant meats in the back.
That's it.
And then you had the real skinny ones up front.
That's
and they were always center lines because you had really deep center lines back.
Well, my 72 Chevelle I drove to high school, I had the center lines on the back and the skinny. Well, they weren't so skinny. I had like 8-inch on the front. I wanted the skinnier ones, but I couldn't afford them at the time. But I had the center lines on it, and I had to get air shocks on it to clear them.
Yep.
So I had that classic.
That's what I had. In fact, you guys see my high school Chevelles on the end of all my videos. You'll see the gold one there with the big giant. But I had the aluminum slots on there.
Yeah. Now, if I could find some slotted mags,
right,
I'd put slotted mags on it. And I wasn't even a slotted mag guy, but I like the look.
Did you see when we were at the Valdosta show, there was a guy there that had that green and white. And if you guys look at the video from the Valdosta Toys for Tot, you'll see he had the 69, I think it was, and he had the slots on there.
That's right.
And but center lines, like a friend of mine, Charlie Radnetter, who now some big shot down in the islands someplace, but we grew up in Pennsylvania, and he had a green one of these with 440, and he had the center lines in it. So yeah, they look awesome with the center lines.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's a rough idea of what I've got planned, but I always like to play it loose because if I run across a deal on something and I can make it look good.
Yeah.
I like low money in and high profit.
It's those quarters don't even look bad.
No, they're not bad. They're not bad. The trunk's got a little rust in it. If I could open it, I can't open it, unfortunately, right now.
And around the window doesn't even, I mean, a little bit of the rust, but it's not what it used to be. Yeah, usually these things are pretty rusted out down here.
I can't believe I wound up.
And it's a hard top because it's got the push windows instead of the roll down windows.
It's got the.
He's
already replaced the floors in it.
Okay.
I've got an extra dash. I don't know what. I got to get a hold of the guy about the dash. I don't know.
So that's a Charger dash.
That's a Charger dash. It is.
So,
and that's I can't remember what he wants to do with that grill. I gotta.
Is that grill for here or is that a different grill?
I'm not even sure.
Okay.
Because I try not to look at this car
until
I get ready for it. So I made the trade and I brought it here, and I just brought it over here. It was sitting out here where it don't need to be, but I brought it over here. I told my son I don't like the way the rust is going. I want you to start treating some of the rust, getting it off, and because the motor's in the machine shop now waiting to go in it.
So then the other Mopar that I noticed when I came up.
Yeah.
And this is the IKEA version.
Yeah.
So if IKEA put out a classic Mopar, this is the IKEA Roadrunner. So they drop it off in parts.
That's it. And this is the hood for the other car with a Chevrolet hood scoop on it. I have no idea why they put that in there.
And that's steel.
Yeah, it's a steel. It's all.
So they welded on a
steel
cow induction.
Yes.
But they didn't do the cow induction on the inside. Well, they kind of did, I guess.
Yeah.
Somebody was sticking an air cleaner up there, but
I have no idea. And they cut the bracing.
People did a lot of drugs in the 80s, evidently.
They did.
And they worked on their car.
They were just making do with what they had, I guess.
But look, now did they seal? What is this part?
Well, this was where the bracing used to be.
Oh, okay.
So the original car was white, so when they cut out the
Okay.
Bracing, I guess.
Because I was just sitting there, I'm like, they didn't seal anything to put that. Okay. So then this here is another hardtop, and it's a Roadrunner, and it's a real Roadrunner.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is a '68 Roadrunner. It's a 383 with a 4-speed.
Okay.
Car. I was looking on the internet for a Roadrunner on a Facebook Marketplace, and I run across this in Tallahassee, and I gave the guy $250 for it.
How long ago?
About 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yep. I knew that there's $250 for the parts here, obviously.
And there's $250 worth of Bondo.
Yes.
So there you go. It's a friendly car. It waves to you at every direction.
Yeah. The guy has the original motor and transmission for this car,
right,
and will not part with it because he thinks it's worth. Anyways, I'm not getting into that, but he won't part with it.
Now it looks like, if I'm looking at the lights, it was a blue car originally.
Yes.
And if you look at the seams where the windows are,
yep,
so it looks like it was blue at some point.
It had a nice rear glass in it, so my son shot it out with his first BB gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job. So, you know, I think it's that your dad would have been like, you know, you could have shot your eye out. Would have been.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Sorry. The guy took the car apart. If I ever am able to get this car going, which we're supposed to be building a shop here before the end of the year.
Right.
This car is going to wind up with some ladder bars up under it. It's going to get tubbed.
So let's see here.
Extremely far gone.
RM21H 8A263110 something 5. But so you've done some research on this thing at all, or
not really? Just the words I got off the guy that I got it from.
Okay.
It had stayed in his family forever, and so I just took him at his word.
Right.
I was trying, this was another deal where
I don't know if it was a risky investment at $250.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, that's a dinner for 5 at that Cracker Barrel.
The floorboards and the torque boxes are not rusted out of it, and I don't know why. The only rust is, well, I mean, there's rust everywhere you can.
Right.
The cabin of the car is pretty solid. The quarter panels and from the rear window back is the frame rails are inside the trunk.
Okay.
You know, it's in bad shape.
Yeah, but if it's a Roadrunner, I mean, if it was a Roadrunner in 1980, it would have been junked. But a Roadrunner nowadays, a nice Roadrunner, you're talking $50,000-$60,000.
That's right.
For just a basic, you know.
And there's a story behind this. Years ago, the Moultrie swap meet, the original one was held in Nashville, Georgia. Okay. Before it moved to Moultrie. Me and my dad would go over there. He worked at Amco Fabrics, and we were walking around. He was looking for a hot rod. I was a little kid, and he was in his 30s. Right. We were looking for a Camaro for my mama, a 67 or 68 Camaro. Okay. We walked up to one of these cars, and I thought it was a family car. You know, right. It was big, and I like the Camaro, the 67 Camaro. Right. And I'm looking at it. It's square instead of round. Oh yeah, and my dad loved it, and he went straight to it. We're looking at it, and it's got the sweeping speedometer in it, not a round speedometer. Right. I just remember these are things that stuck out when I was a little kid. I was like 7 years old. Man. Right. And I'm looking in the car, and I'm like, Dad, this is a slow car. He's like, no, son, this is a fast car. This is a. He was telling me how great it was. Right. Well, I just took him at his word, and I just thought this is the epitome of a muscle car. This is the greatest car ever. Right. So. This is the car I wanted my whole life. Unfortunately, now that I've got old enough to, I've got everything in order. Now they're $80,000. Well, and I ran across this one, and when I see this car, I see what I want is, I want the hot rod my dad would have rode around in, what he wanted. And what he would have done if he could have afforded it was he would have narrowed the rear end, put the old ladder bars up. Oh yeah, yeah. And there were some guys around town that actually had one of these with massive slicks on it. And he'd sit at the red light and he'd just chirp the tires. Yeah. You know, that's what I want this car to be. And you know the difference now, because we're about the same age, is back then, like in the 80s, if you had a Hemi, if somebody found a Hemi, they put it in a crate and put it in the garage because you couldn't buy them anymore. Now, there's kits that you can get a Hemi, you can order a Hemi from Dodge with the transmission and
the kit for this,
and put it right
and
in.
put it, and it'll slip right in.
It'll
So
slip right
you
in.
could make this a Hemi car.
Oh yeah.
If you wanted to. Now, of course, that's money that you got to look at and go, oh, okay, get the car done first, and then when it's worth it as a roller, then you can put that in.
And that is my goal. We're gonna build the car out, and really, the engine and transmission is probably the last thing I'm thinking about in it. You know, I've got a lot of work to do, obviously, getting it anywhere. Because
the 380, it's still a 383 car, so a nice 383 from you know.
And I actually got a line on one of those.
Okay.
So we may wind up doing.
Or you just order one from Jegs if you don't feel like building it yourself, because Jegs has.
Yeah.
You can tell them what horsepower you want, and it'll come in a crate.
Come in a crate.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
And
but
the one thing, unfortunately, people have towed it around by the bumper, so they're bent. But I've got to get the bumper off, because when I get the shop gets built, it's going on the wall. It's got the old beep beeps your ass and all that stickers are still all the way across the bumper down there.
So there's still everything on that, huh?
Yep. Yep, they are.
Oh yeah, I see them. Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, this is like for my channel, this is like an ultimate $250 Roadrunner since 2015. It just doesn't. You know, I mean, you couldn't have bought this for a parts car. That hood's over $250 for a Roadrunner hood.
One of these doors is actually not this one, that one. That door is actually in good shape. So
yeah, I mean, just parts alone, a couple parts on that would have been worth the money. But I mean, to have a complete car, lenses and everything are in there. So
the whole car is here minus the motor and transmission.
Wow.
I've even thought about using some of the parts on the other car, but I probably won't.
And I mean, and for somebody who does interior work on custom interior work on cars for a living, like you just look at that and go, yeah, whatever. That's a Thursday.
Well, these cars I look at like they're an open canvas,
right?
You know, because I think a man you need to look at your financial situation,
right?
And then let that determine what you do with the car. Because to me, it's about having the car and it not being destroyed and winding up I don't want it to sit here. If I can't get this car fixed in the next 5 years, y'all see this car up.
Well, see, and that's the thing is, and part of this channel is that that people should just take, if you have something, you do the best you can with it. You don't, you know, there's guys out there like you know, like that you go and you see some of them on here on my channel where I go to their man cave, but these guys have been making 6-figure salaries for 25 years or 7-figure salaries, and they're gonna have that perfect car where the bolt is like every bolt has to be in the same direction, and that's great. And and we need them because they're the ones that are going to save the cars that are the one-offs, and they're the ones that people look at when you're a kid. You look at that car and go, I want it. But for the most of us, we're going to have these.
That's right.
And it's best to have them on the road, even if they're not correct, but you're getting fun and use out of them, because if you go to the car shows, it's beautiful. It's nice to have that perfect one. But if there's one perfect one, but 8 or 9 other ones that are hot rods, like we all had in high school, that's where the memories come from.
For me, it absolutely is. When I was a kid, I had all the magazines, you know, and I had a list of muscle cars I wish I could get back.
Right.
But I would look at them. I wanted every car perfect, and so I found myself not doing anything in my car because I couldn't get it done perfect. And then as I got older, I started changing that up. I still appreciate those cars, but I want to do I do all the work myself. I do the best that I can do, and then it's actually grown into a business now because
you know, and the thing is, the cars, even like back then, a 4-door Chevelle. If you had a 74-door Chevelle, you didn't even move it. You didn't even buy it. If somebody gave it to you, you would try to sell it.
I worked with a guy that had one, and I would see it coming and say, I would say, oh, there's a Chevelle, and I'd see it, I'm like, oh man.
Or station wagons now. I mean, now you're talking a Chevelle station wagon. If you get a '69 Chevelle station wagon right now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's 20 grand.
A friend of mine's got a GS wagon, like a 60. What is that? I'm not sure what year it is.
64 or 5 something.
No, it's newer than that.
Is it the Buick?
Yes.
It's probably a 69 or a 72 somewhere in there.
Or a 70 in there. So you know what it is? It's got single headlight, so it's a 70, 71, 72. Yeah, it's a Buick a Buick GS station wagon. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have batted an eye at it in high school, but now I love it.
You'd have been, you know, driving that. People, oh, you're in your mom's car. But nowadays, those things, the station wagons are worth
Fury
stuff.
3 here a while back, a Fury 3 station wagon.
Right.
Like 80,000 original miles on it. It still had the factory. It was green that old,
Right.
and it still had the paint on the wheels.
Yeah.
Because it just, you know, it was a plain Jane car, but a guy bought it, and now I would have drove it with a 383 in it. He pulled it all out and put a modern engine in it, which that's fine too.
Well, see, and this is the other thing. You were talking about doing a shop or doing a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Now he could do one right now because you work on some really high-end custom cars with what you do, and some you can't even talk about because they're so high-end that you can't. You showed me a picture, and we can't even talk about it because there's some one-offs and stuff that he does for people that are in TV and for manufacturers.
Yes, sir.
So his reputation, he could do that. And probably have a great YouTube channel with that. But if you're gonna have a shop and you're gonna be rebuilding these things, that's a YouTube, and that's a YouTube channel in itself. So for you guys, like I said, when he's ready to do it, when Gary's ready to do it, this is a channel you're gonna want to see just from looking at the projects that he has lined up, and when he's allowed to talk about some of the stuff that he's already shown me. I won't be able to talk about, but when he just starts doing that and you see the stuff he works on, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you're talking to a guy it's like I wouldn't, you know, we have the farm where April's farm is down the street on a dirt road, and we are now nowhere near.
No.
I mean, you're talking 5 hours to any big city.
Yeah.
But when you're good at what you do, people find you.
It's 2 years ago when I started this, if you'd have told me I would be doing what I'm doing now, I was a millwright, you know, an industrial electrician, jack of all trades. I made my living doing that my whole life, and I was actually having a plantar fasciitis. Actually got me into this. I thought I had arthritis and was going crippled. I was doing a little bit of work on the side, and I was trying to find a way to survive. Paid off everything I own, and was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to make a living doing upholstery work, meeting people. Did a young guy a favor starting his stereo business up, and he returned that favor 4 years later by introducing me to some of the people that he introduced me to.
Yeah, and on his channel, I don't want to burst bubbles because I want you guys to watch his channel. He'll tell you about some of the people, and they have car TV shows, not YouTube shows, TV shows that he's worked with. So, all right, so we're shooting the crap, and I know you guys kind of like listen to stuff like that. So this Mustang, your son came out and told me about, and so it's a 40th anniversary.
Yep.
And
It is a real one. It's a 40th anniversary. He's saying it's not a
it's not the GT.
It's not the 40th anniversary package.
Right.
Package,
but it was the year, so it's the 40th anniversary one. And it's funny because we just saw a similar car for sale near here that I just put up yesterday that we found that has no engine or transmission in it. Sure. It's white. Yep. It's sitting for sale out in front of somebody's house.
We looked at it ourselves.
So she's selling that one, but this one, if you had to figure out, now it's missing a bumper, no big deal. It's the fiberglass bumper on the back, but the car, if you look at the interior, I think so this thing is a complete car, drivable. Yep. You drove it home. Nope. Okay.
Pull it on a trailer.
Pulled it on a trailer, and then, did it start when you?
It started, and we drove it off the trailer. We cut it off. My granddaddy came. I said, "Here, granddaddy, I want to show you." And so I crunk it up for him, and then it cut off. And I said, "Well, there you go. It runs." Right. And we came out here later to move it, and it locked up sitting. When it cut off,
so the engine's locked up. So it's got a locked up engine, but the story on this is, how much did y'all pay for it? He told me how much.
But I've got $400 in the car.
400 total bucks.
400 bucks.
So check this out. For $650, he's got a Roadrunner and
And I've already sold
a
the
Mustang
engine for this for $250.
So you already bought or sold?
I've sourced it. I found
Oh, so you already found.
go get it.
So for $250, he's going to have an engine in this, and since if you work on car,
10,000 miles on it.
and we work on cars, so you can't count. If it's your own car, you can't put in the labor fees.
That's right.
So when he gets his time in it, and these guys get it in there, they're going to have under $1,000 in this. Probably because I mean, the back bumper's missing, but that's it's right there. Is that the red one?
That red thing.
That red thing. So
it. Yeah, we picked that up at a bullet yard for $40.
there you go. And a spray can of paint is $12 or.
Well, this is going to be the first thing we paint. So
okay.
we're going to learn about painting.
So this is going to be the first.
Yeah.
You should try painting it with the spray, those big tall spray cans.
Oh, the big tall spray
cans.
We could do that.
Do that just to do it once and see how it looks.
We could do that.
So, but it's the V6 in there, right? And is that what you're putting back in it?
Yeah, that's what we're putting back in it, at least for the first year or so, while he learns to drive, because this will be his first car.
Oh, okay.
And then we've got aspirations. We have a 4.6 Terminator motor.
Okay.
That we may wind up in here when it's all said and done. But
this is the kind of thing, guys. I mean, I'll tell you what. The one thing in Georgia is there's affordable cars like this.
There are. Hold on. There aren't here. No, just probably California.
Oh yeah, okay,
go look there,
yeah, go look there. Wait, because they don't want anybody. They don't want all the. If we tell us there's going to be a whole bunch of cars with Chicago plates and New York plates and California plates coming in here and trying to get them. So yeah, these don't exist. We actually let's rephrase. Yeah. That was $25,000, and this thing was priceless. So yeah, you can't afford to come here to Georgia and buy stuff.
Don't even bother, guys.
So
don't even bother.
So in fact, they can't even afford real deer. They got to put fake deer out in the yard because the deer here are too expensive.
Yep.
So all right, let's go. And now this one here. When I was in the Navy in the 80s, and I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and a guy there, David Rice. Dave, if you're watching this, you're about my age now, but if you were in Memphis, Tennessee, in Millington, bought one of these when they first came out. Yep. And they were kind of competing with the Fiero, and also the Fiero was competing with basically the Porsche because they were all, everybody wanted them. And these things were really cool when they came out, and it's an MR2.
It's an MR2. It's an '85 model, if I'm not mistaken, guys. I haven't run the numbers or checked it, but I was told by the guy I got it from it was 85. This was an interesting story. I had to get permission to go get this.
Right.
This belonged to my first girlfriend, my first true love.
Okay.
Her brother called me up, and he said this thing's been sitting in my backyard for 20 years, and my yard caught on fire, and he said it ran, back it up. It caught on fire in the back and burnt the ground effects and messed up the computer in it.
Okay.
He said, Gary, I want it out of my yard.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Okay.
And he said, if you'll come get it, you can have it. So I went and picked it up. The motor's complete. It's been, I believe it's still free. I really don't know. I haven't looked that deep into it.
So what caught on fire? The electrical box.
The yard, somebody neighbor was burning off the yard.
Oh, so the grass caught on fire.
The grass on fire in the wintertime down here.
Okay.
And the battery blew up, and all this suffered. So I've been trying to find a donor car or something, to make one. Not that easy to find. I found one in the junkyard, and unfortunately the Swedish had came and cut it in half and took the rear portion.
Oh wow! So somebody else had taken it. So, But the other thing that's cool with it, if you're, especially look, if you're a young kid, or maybe you're not a young kid, maybe you're an old guy like me, but you've never painted a car or you've never worked on a car, you could get something like this for $100, $200 from a junkyard. Don't worry about titles or anything, and learn how to paint a car. You can paint this 16 different times
and guys,
and do stuff.
In my opinion, you take this car, when I redo this car, I'm probably going to tub that car out. I priced building a trunk of that car. There's $2,000 or $3,000 in buying sheet metal to go in the trunk of that car. You can go buy a sheet of steel, and I've got access to a bead roller and stuff like that. But you can build your own stuff. A lot of times it's cheap, and if you're not worried about making it absolutely original, don't worry about it.
Yeah, if you're not putting it in
No.
Mecum auctions,
No,
then
I mean, like this car was destined to be crushed, and or I could, I mean, if I would take a bead roller and whatever, and you know, fashion a floorboard back out of this, and work with what I've got.
yeah.
If I could, I mean.
And like I said, even if not, if you buy something like this and you never painted a car,
No,
and you're
this
like,
is
well,
hard.
you got your family car and you're thinking of painting it, well, you buy this, sand it down, you paint it, you practice on it. I mean, that's what they do at tech schools. They bring in these cars like this and
I didn't know how to do upholstery work until I started.
doing upholstery work.
Yeah, and after I messed up, I fixed it, and I just went through that process over at the end of a year's time. I knew about as much as anybody else, you know, outside of some techniques that I could learn from you know, like really good custom guys.
Well, they say you have to do something for 10,000 hours before.
Yeah.
You know,
And
that's why if you ever watch a YouTube channel,
oh yeah, I'm sure.
if you go back and watch my beginning videos, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
No,
but you
I
learn.
don't.
April, should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.
Where it says merchandise store right here, merchandise store link, you will see it says https:/junkyards-barn-finds with, and you click on that and it's going to take you here.